Hi guys, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Cairo and I are here, and Miss Nielsen's going to get started with a math lesson to follow up with what we've been doing this week. Cairo's going to go play and chew on some toys while I do that, aren't you? You're going to be a good boy, huh? Or you want to stay and do this with us? Yeah? Okay. Okay, you sit right here. All right. So the past couple days we've been talking about different types of graphs and answering questions about graphs. We're going to kind of focus a lot on the um, questions today, but we'll also look at a graph too. So we've got your vertical picture graph, bar graph is what we did yesterday on animal habitats. We've also got your bar graph on animal classifications that we did yesterday. Then this one happens to be from the first lesson we did, where we just kind of put them in the different categories and told you the number. And then same with this one. And we use that information then to make those graphs. I still have the other graphs with the tally marked up as well, and the picture graphs that we have. What we're focusing on today is still making bar graphs, but using some different information. So one that they gave us was birthdays and when these birthdays fell. So we're not using our class birthdays, but we just happen to be using birthdays that they gave me. So for instance, spring birthdays, there was 8, summer birthdays 6, fall birthdays 2, and winter birthdays 9. So basically, they gave me that information in a chart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that information and I'm going to put it in a bar graph, so it's a little bit more easy to read in terms of looking at the data and maybe analyzing it, who has more, who has less, and kind of going from there. So Ms. Nielsen made a bar graph using that information. As you can see, winter birthdays takes the most, but not by much. And you've got the spring birthdays, then you've got the summer birthdays, and you see that fall has the least amount, which is that 2. Now remember, each of these, or what this is called, is the scale, right? And each of these boxes represents 1. You've got your numbers across the bottom, you've got your title here, our birthdays, and the categories, right? So it's another way to organize our data that we've been given and look at the information. So when we look at this information, I'm going to use my phone. I took some pictures of it yesterday. Actually, we're going to create a bar graph together, okay? So I'm going to put Cairo down, even though he's quite comfortable in my lap. Okay, go. We're going to create a bar graph based on a favorite book. So basically the information they're giving us is that, sorry, I'm going to zoom in here. Favorite book. So they've got a book called The Miraculous Journey. Actually, I'm not going to write this down. I'm just going to show you. Hopefully it zooms in enough. Okay. So I'm going to show you this. This is the info we're going to use. So those are 3 book titles, and then that's the information they give us. So they've got 11 for the Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, it looks like. Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. Oops. And then Zen Shorts. Yep. And we've read Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. So we've got 11 for the first, 9 for the second, and 5 for the third. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to start with, before we make our chart, our bar graph, we're going to put a title on our bar graph. So our title is favorite books. So at the very top, and I'm going to do this vertically, favorite books. Just like that at the very top. Then I have 3 different types of books. So we're going to kind of shorten the names for these. The title of the first one starts with the word journey. So we're just going to call that Journey. Then the second one is Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. We'll call that Cows. And the third one is called Zen Shorts. We'll call that Zen. So we're going to put our categories down below. just like that. Sorry, my allergies are bothering me a little bit. Then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of create a box. Now, we would have had a template, so this would have been a little easier. However, we'll work with what we got. And then I'm just going to create 3 columns for each book. So basically what I've done is just taken, this will be for Journey, this will be for Cows, this will be for Zen. And you'll kind of see it a little more as we go along. Then along the side, I'm going to put my numbers. All right, and then I'm going to draw lines across to separate the boxes. Cairo, what are you doing over there? Okay, so basically what I've done now is I've got my bar graph set up, and now I have to fill it in. So the first one was Journeys. Let's see what it said. And they had 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bar graph. We're going to start here down at the bottom. That's 0. And we're going to count all the way up till we get to 11. So I'm going to color in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spaces. Because remember, each box on the scale represents 1. So now you can see that there's 11. Great. Cows. Uh-oh, what's out there? Hold on just a second. Okay. Click, clack, moo. Cows that type had 9. So I'm going to count 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to color in those 9 spaces on my scale because, again, each space represents 1. And now we've got 2 done. And then I'm going to do my last one, which is Zen Shorts. And I think the Zen Shorts was 5. Yep. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll color in our 5 boxes on the scale. Now, we've organized our data. We've taken it and we've put it in a way that is maybe a little easier to see picture-wise. Remember, this is vertical. If I turn it horizontally, nothing changes. It just, the writing's a little funky, but you can still see that the Journey one is the most, Zen, is the least, and the Cows is kind of in the middle there. So we're going to take this, and now we're going to answer some questions about our data. So I'm going to get my whiteboard. I think that'll be easiest to kind of show you. Sorry, I've got a lot of stuff here I got to keep organized. And let's erase what I had on here from the other day. All right, so now that we've organized our data, we're going to analyze it. And that means we're going to kind of look at it and see what we can answer about it, because that's what you do with data. You answer questions about it. So first question says, do you know who has a birthday? Oh, excuse me. We're not doing birthday questions. Sorry. We are doing questions about the book. So let's look at this. There's 3 categories. So how many favorite books are there altogether? In order to do that, we'd have to count up all the books that there are. So we could do that one of two ways. We know that Journeys has 11. And if I want to know altogether the total amount, I'm going to take each category and I'm going to add. I'm going to use the operation of addition. Cows, there's 9. And Zen, there's 5. So if I want to know how many altogether, I simply write an addition sentence. If you wanted to draw a picture to go with this, you could simply just put a tape diagram together. Oops. And that these 3 parts equal a whole, right? And then what I'm noticing is that I have 11 and 9. I know 9 and 1 more would make 10, plus this 10 makes 2 10s. So I know that 11 plus 9 equals 20. And then I still have 20 plus the 5, so 25 would be my total of how many books there were total, or how many people we asked total, 25. Okay. So another question that they might ask is, how many fewer were there in Zen than in Cows? So let's look at this real quick. I have Zen. I see that there's less than Cows. Cows has more. So when it says how many fewer in Zen, sometimes that gets a little confusing. They try to word it so they can confuse you. But basically what they're saying is there are fewer Zen, but how many fewer are there, right? Fewer means less, or few. There's fewer than this one. So I see that here in the picture graph. I see in the picture graph that Cows has 9. And when I know that 9 is more than this number here, I know that this is going to be my whole. Zen only has 5, so 5 is only going to be a part. When they ask me how many fewer, again, knowing that 9 is greater than 5, I know I have to figure out how much greater it is. So 2 ways to do that. Oops, I forgot the other part. You could do a part whole, or you could do this. This is a tick diagram. Sorry. When we have a tape diagram or a part whole and we already have the whole, we know that the operation we have to use is subtraction. Subtraction, because I already know the whole. I already know the number that we needed. It was 9. But what made 9? So if I do 9 minus 5, 9 minus 5 equals 4. So in Zen, there are 4 fewer books than in Cows. Now, what if I asked, how many more Journeys books than Cows books? How many more Journeys books than Cows books? What you could easily do is, here's my Journeys books, and I want to know how many more do I have of it than Cows. So when I see, what I could basically do is just say, okay, there's fewer here, but how many more would I need to get the same amount as Journeys? 1, 2, right? Well, if we want to set that up, though, in an equation, how many more Journeys books? Well, I see that Journeys has the most, and Journeys has 11. So you would know Journeys is your whole. Cows only has 9. So it is a part. 2 ways to set it up. Tape diagram or part whole. Hold on, Cairo. So when I know what my whole is and I'm missing a part, the operation you're going to do is subtraction. So 11, Cairo, hold on, minus 9. 11 minus 9 equals 2. So Journeys has 2 more books than cows. So today, what you're going to be doing again is looking at your picture graphs, taking data, putting it into a graph, organizing it a little bit more efficiently, and in a way that's a little bit easier to read as opposed to just having numbers and a chart. So when you go to answer your questions, really think about what it's asking you, really think about what it's saying. And if you have any questions or concerns, again, please feel free to reach out. And if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day, and I'll be back later for the ELA lesson.